Now we're gonna go into graph. We're gonna start by review. The review from last week is, do you know what a sine of x graph look like? Okay, Devin, like I say, I need you to have eye contacts. Arthur, Isla, all you guys. Same thing. Okay, yes. All right, so this time, where does sine start at? It start at a midline, right? It start at 0. How long take it to sine graph to do a period?
2 pi.
2 pi. So we're gonna make it 4 spaces here, and this is 2 pi, and this is a pi. Is that okay? And of course, this is a pi over 2, and this is 3 pi over 2. So therefore, the graph is gonna go up. I'm gonna say this is a 1, so it's gonna go up to here, right? Come back down. And it's not a straight line. Again, if you don't want to draw a straight line, there's a curvy line here. And this is a sine graph. Now I can go to the other side. The other day I didn't do the other side, so I'm gonna do the other side. So the other side as well, because usually I'll ask students to draw 2 periods. So 2 period is gonna look like this. So that's another period. So this is negative 2 pi. So there's total a sine of x, because this is a 1, so the n by 2 is 1. So 1 is tell you how much it stretch. Josiah, where's your paper? Are you writing down? It looked like you're very.
Wait, is that pi or negative pi?
I don't know what's a word. Uh-huh.
Pi or negative pi?
Negative pi. And this is a negative 3 pi over 2, and this is a negative pi over 2. So this is a sine graph. Okay? So cosine graph. Why you go to cosine of x? Devin, where's the cosine graph start at?
0.
See, that's why I need you to pay attention.
On the somewhere in the y-axis. I forgot where it was.
Where do they start? Look at your notes. That's why you are not focusing. Where's cosine started at? Let me ask Robert. At 1. See, this is a start at 1. You start at peak. It takes 2 pi to get to another peak. So this is a pi, this is 2 pi. So that is going to get to another peak, because the period is the same. Now, what happened at pi? Can somebody tell me at pi? Kennedy, what happened at pi? It's at a minimum. Thank you. So you pay attention. Good. And what happened is you start on the top. You're going to hit the midline. And you're going to go to the minimum. And you're going to come back up. And you're going to do this. So it looks like a vase. It looked like an ugly vase. Okay, so the other side is going to be something like this. It's symmetrical, yes. And this is known as cosine of x. Now, cosine of x has a negative infinity to infinity. And negative 1 to 1. That's the domain and range. And this one's going to be negative infinity to infinity. And negative 1 to 1. And the sine function is known as odd functions. Odd functions. Because odd function is symmetry to origin.
The domain and range is the same.
Yeah. So this is an even function. It's symmetry to y-axis. Okay, so they have symmetry to y-axis. So 1 start at peak. Cosine start at peak. Start at peak. Sine start at midline. Very, very important that you guys know this, because write it down. If you don't have it, you start at midline, when start at peak. Now, can I get positive sign or negative sign? Yes. If you have, I'm gonna say this again. If it's a positive sign, this part's gonna go up. If it's negative sign, it's gonna go what? Go down. Go the other way. And this will be negative sign graph. It's gonna be exactly opposite. Now remember last time we already talked about this, right? We talked about this is if you have same frequency on both sides. And that's how you levitate something. So I'm gonna draw it out for you. So today, if I have a sound, I can produce a sound on the top. And I can produce a sound on the bottom here. And it's gonna start at midline and go like this, right?
What did you
Sorry.
say?
I'm going to show you that the sound wave, yes. So I'm gonna start on the bottom here, and I'm gonna say that's the wave like this.
Are you counting? What is it? It's like
No, he's just like showing different.
now listen.
I'm gonna show you what happened. Hold on a second. No, you don't have to. It's just to show you what happened. When you whisper, that's more annoying, Isla. Imagine like when people are lecturing and you go like, pss, pss. That's way more annoying than you actually talk out loud. I don't have energy to deal with this nonsense. Okay, so if this is how it's produced a sound wave, and you can have wave the other one. So one machine is gonna produce a black line, one machine is gonna produce another line. So I'll show you how this works. Okay, so one machine is inject the red line, and one machine is inject the black line. So what happened is this part, this here is called a node. Now this is like I say, we talk about this is extra information. This is called a node. So remember, this is sound wave. It's producing from two different sides. Okay, so now that this part and this part and this part here, you can actually put a droplets inside here and they will suspend. So I'll show you a video about this. It's actually pretty interesting. So, and usually I don't want, because I want you guys to show you like there's a lot of application to it. Suspending water droplets. So this.
Have you ever seen a water droplets suspended in the air? The water droplets suspended in the air, which sounds like a scene that can only be seen in space. However, it can happen in Earth too. Well, Isaac Newton didn't tell me about that. In 1886, German physicists had discovered that sound waves could levitate dust. So, it's not difficult to suspend other things like water droplets by this sound levitation technology. It's the magic of science. These levitating devices shoot down sound waves. Then the sound waves reflected back by the bottom end. The converging sound waves create standing waves, which is strong enough to hold objects with little gravity in the air. So that makes water droplets floating in the air. Have you ever seen water droplets suspended in the air?
Buy a kit like this.
The water droplets suspended in the air.
And you can actually build your own. That you can just use a syringe to enter a water droplet in those places. Basically, just create sound wave from two different sides, they are exactly opposite with each other, so it's gonna create a node. And every time you drop the droplet in the nodes, they will suspend because the both sounds push against each other, and those are node they kind of cancel each other out. That's where the sound wave cancel each other out. So it's one pushing the other way, one is pushing the other way, it's cancel the other out. So that becomes suspension throughout those places. Now this is a one application, right? So a lot of time people don't think that it's important to understand the sine graph and cosine graph. Me, how loud I am, or how boring I am, the way I talk, the tones and things, is all waves. So that's why like AI can mimic people's voice now. If you give him like read me a story with Tupac's voice, whatever, with what's the other rapper? I don't know what's his name. Not Drake, but the guy always smoke weed. What's that?
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. There we go.
He smoked in the White House too.
Yeah.
So can you move the droplets? Is there a way to like make the sound waves move the droplets?
That's what you're gonna come up with. I don't know. I only saw it and I thought that's a very cool applications. Now, so for those things that this is sine graph. So now we also gonna go into there was a cosine or a sine of bx plus a minus c plus d. So we talked about this last time.
What's that say? A what?
A sine bx minus c plus d. So we talked about this a last time. What's a stand for? What's a stand for? A stand for amplitude. Good.
I think remember this. Boy.
Okay.
A stand for amplitude. It's the absolute value of a. Okay. And C. Oh no, sorry. D is the midline. I always start with the midline. Actually, I always start graph of midline because the midline told me the whole graph is gonna go up or down. Okay. Now I will go care about B. B is 2 pi over B, which is that's gonna tell me the periods. And the C is the I would say first point or a horizontal translation. So I'm gonna start with the easy one. I'm gonna start with the actually okay one. So make sure B is outside. So make sure
Can you scroll?
B is outside of parenthesis always. That should be your first step. Parenthesis. So B has to be outside. You have to make sure. If B is not outside, then you screw pretty much the whole graph. You might get the first point correct, but everything else is gonna go back. So B has to be outside. So I'm gonna show you a question. Okay? We start by understanding some simple one. So let's just understand like y equal to 2 sine of x minus 3. So how do I graph this? So you realize which two value you have. I have A or have B or have C or have D. Which two value? What is it?
A and D.
A and D, good. So A is equal to 2. D is equal to 3. Okay. Devin, I don't want to keep on reminding you to focus over there. I don't know why you keep on zoning out. If you're like this, I'm pissed. Because other people is paying attention and you are my kids and actually pay less attention than anybody else. Like I said, I will call you out. I don't care who is it, but today Arthur is paying attention. So what you're gonna do is pay attention to the midline. So usually I will go through 4 steps. So what is the first step? The first step is tell me what is the amplitude. And I'm gonna do -2 also. We're gonna say amplitude is equal to absolute value of -2, so it is equal to 2. So amplitude is 2, right? B, I usually figure out what is the midline. Okay, midline is y equal to -3. So it's based on the midline. C, I will figure out a period. What is a period? Period is also 2 pi over, in this case, 2 pi over 1, right? So it's 2 pi. The next thing is this.
Wait, Mr. How did we get C?
It's always 2 pi over b.
What does that stay for C?
Period. Okay, it's always 2 pi over b.
No, that's D.
Okay, now we're gonna go to D. So we got A, which is the amplitude, the midline, and the period. Period is 2 pi.
Is it midline D?
We just can switch the
I
order.
see.
I always graph midline first because the midline's easiest to graph. Okay, D. In this case, it's gonna be find out what is a quarter periods. So what is quarter period? It's basically break the period into 4. So we can see the fluctuation between the midline, the maximum, the minimum, the midlines. We can see that. So it's quarter period. So we take the whole period and we divide it by 4. So it's pi over 2. So that means every pi over 2 is going to have a drastic change. Is this okay so far?
You said that. So if the period's the same for all the graphs, does that mean that D is gonna be the same for every graph?
For this particular graph, yes, it will be the same.
For the last one, we're doing 1/4 times period. Like, what is that one supposed to be?
It's called quarter periods. So 1/4 the period.
Period is section.
And E is any horizontal translation here. So there is no horizontal translation. So horizontal translation. So in this particular case, now I'm gonna graph. So what do I graph first? I actually graph the midline first. Why do I graph the midline? Because the midline can tell me where the graph is gonna go up or down. So this is y equal to -3. Is that okay? Is this okay so far? Okay, we're gonna start at 0. What happened? Where is the quarter period? Quarter period is what?
Pi over 2.
So we're gonna go with pi over 2. We're gonna go with pi. We're gonna go 3 pi over 2. And then we're gonna go 2 pi, right? Now, we're gonna start with here because it starts at the midline. But since this is -2, it's a midline going down. Is that okay? Midline going down. So go down 2 more units here. And then come back up. And go up 2 more units and come back down. So the graph's going to be something like this.
Oh.
So this is a 2 units. This 2. This is a 2. So you start at the midline. You go to the next period. So usually it's this. If you have a, let's say, if you have a sine graph, right? Usually start with the midline. Go to maximum. Go back to midline. And go back to minimum. So minimum. And then go back to the midline. So it starts this. But if you have negative sign, it's going to go down first. So negative sign is going to go down 2 units first rather than go up 2 units. So that's why this negative sign matters here, because negative sign told you go down first. Now let's go back to the cosine graph here. Cosine start at peak, right? If A is greater than 0, what happens if you start at trough? When A is less than 0. So in this case, this is here. So starting at midline, if A is greater than 0, go up. is a is less than 0, it's going to go down. So that depends on the a value. If a value told you where you're going to start as well. Is this okay?
What does that do?
Huh?
What does that do then?
Because they told you where did they go. So I hear usually if today is a positive, then it's going to go this way. But since it's a negative, it's going to go down first. Because there was a negative sign right here.
The amplitude, right?
Yeah. Okay, so now I want you to use the same logic. I want you to graph this. And I'm not going to give you a B and C value because B and C value is kind of confused. B, I'm just stay at 1. So I'm going to give you -3 cosine of x plus 1. I want you to graph this -3 cosine of x plus 1. And you decide your own scale. -3 cosine of x plus 1.
Scale is that is determined by
The scale for the x is decided by your quarter periods. So you take a period divided by 2. Or take a period divided by 4.
period is
2 pi over b. Look at it. 2 pi. Period is, we say that period is 2 pi over b. Once you find out 2 pi over b and figure out the periods.
that's a good problem.
No, I can change anything. I can change your b value. I can change your a value. I can change your d value. You finished graphing already?
Graph's really ugly.
That's what I thought.
Now cosine doesn't start at midline now. Cosine start at peak or trough, right?
Yeah, so it's a peak. First thing I established.
Okay, but you gotta start at midline to go up the peak.
Let's start at 1.
It's negative. I think I did it, but then I don't think I did. You think I'm right?
It's like peak or trough.
Wait, mid.
It's a peak or trough. Do I start at peak or trough? Start at trough.
Okay, what was the midline?
No, look, the midline on the other. This is close. The midline on the other one is first. But it's negative. It tells you your midline.
Yes.
It's not a peak. It's not a start at peak. It does start at peak or trough. But in this case, it's negative, so start at a trough. So you gotta pay attention to the -3 cosine or +3 cosine.
Negative.
So where they start?
So it's gonna start bottom.
Yeah, but you have to base on the midline too. Midline is at 1. So it's what? 1 minus 3 is 2.
No. No, not the most. Bully, I'm trying, okay? Not the most proficient at that.
Everybody agrees it's gonna be okay.
Where's Nicholas today?
Uh,
He missed a bad day.
The rest of us won't. If the school ever tells you that we may not have school again, then chill out, setting it up.
I'm thinking, right? Oh my god. Because cos already starts at 1 when the running horizontal.
Then, midline is 1.
There's a vertical translation because it's 1. So we can do it off. It's plus a vertical translation is 1 plus 1 is 2.
Remember how you got and how to change it?
Yeah, I gotta sleep.
So write down your values first, so that you can get the exact.
All right.
Make a fucking graph.
Let's try again here. Let's try to look at this graph. See how you guys doing. I'm charging my.
No, I want to try something. I wouldn't.
You're wrong. You're right.
Wait,
You're writing at the same scale as the left.
No, did you do it first?
It still doesn't.
Okay.
It still doesn't start in the midline, so it doesn't matter.
whoa. Yeah. You wrote that.
So we have y equal to -3 cosine of x plus 1, right? So what is the amplitude? A is amplitude, right?
Negative. Well, sure.
A is equal to absolute value of -3, so it's equal to 3. However, it's -3. You have to worry about that too. So B, I will not look at the midline. What's the midline? Y equal to 1. So draw a dotted line for the midline, because that is your middle of the peak and the trough. C, what is the next thing?
Your period.
Period. So period, this is the 1, so it's equal to 2 pi over 1, so it's 2 pi. So it takes 2 pi to go through 1 period. D, what is a quarter period, right? What is a quarter period? Well, in this case, it's same as before. So it's 2 pi over 4, so pi over 2. Question about it.
I don't know.
Oh, I know.
E,
Horizontal translate.
E.
There's none.
so there was none.
It's the same as what I did last time.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna graph this. First of all, I usually graph 2 period, but so I'm gonna see. So I here it takes 2 pi. So but it takes a pi over 2 every 4th period. So we're gonna draw the midline first. The midline is gonna be blue line, which is 1 here. Is that okay? That's not asymptote. That's just a line to help me draw. You can draw a straight line if you want to. That's fine. That's gonna see where the sine wave is gonna start out with. Now this one we take care of. Now we're gonna take care of the -3. So it's cosine. Either start at a peak or trough. Since the -3 is gonna start at a trough, but the trough is based on the midline. The midline is 1, so you're gonna go down 1, 2, 3. So it's gonna be right here. That's your first point. Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's complement the complement.
And then there's gonna be pi over 2. There's gonna be pi, and there's a 3 pi over 2, and there's 2 pi. So it's gonna go here. It's gonna go toward not the x-axis. A lot of people do this, and that's wrong. A lot of people do this. That's wrong. It's gonna go toward here and touch the midline, because it has to go to the middle, not touching the x-axis. Some people will draw touching the x-axis. That's not right. So yeah, it's based on midline. Everything is based on midline. So think about like a when you go to the beach, and when you go to the beach, when the tide is receding, they still gonna have the same wave, but the tide is much lower. Versus if you have the rising tide, then the high is gonna be taller, but still have the same bounce, right? So you draw where the midline is and draw the bounce. Is that okay? But it's based on that midline. So now it's gonna go back here. So the highest point is actually gonna go to 4. Yeah, 3 up and 3 down. Form the midline. And this is the midline. You gotta be careful. Now, when you want to do this, I will show you how to check on decimals. If I check on decimals, it's gonna be here. And I'm gonna check it again. I'm gonna check it again here. So this is 2 period. I always graph 2 periods because I will graph front 1 period and back 1 periods. Because that way I can see everything. So the 2 pi, it should be able to tell me like this. Now, how do I check on decimals? I'm gonna go to the decimals. And I'm gonna say y equal to -3 cosine of x, right? And then what? +1. So we always graph the midline. Pay attention. This is how you're gonna check your answer. Y equal to 1. And you can look at here. Pi over 2 and 1. 3 pi over 2. You can click on the peak too to check your answer, whether your answer is correct. So now you're going to learn how to check your answer. You're going to learn, hey, is my graph correctly? Is my maximum at 4 or at 3? It matters because it's based on the midline, not based on x-axis. A lot of people make mistake on the test is they based on x-axis. No, the midline is your new x-axis. So basically, whole rising tide is going up a little bit. So you got based on that value. Is this okay? Now, this is fine, right? How many of you guys graphed this correctly? Raise your hand if you did. Can you tell me where you miss up when you graph it? Did you even try? Ayla, where's your graph that's messed up? Do you know? Ayla, do you know where you mess up?
No, it's because I drew like the midline, but then after that, I was like, I understand like the period showing how long each section is. And I kind of just like the period thing. But
No, I need you to do the quarter period. Did you do quarter period? Okay.
kind of confused on like how to actually draw the whole graph. But, like after you explained it, like I kind of understand like going up 3, going down 3. I'm like, oh, that's how.
Okay, who else graph it wrong? Raise your hand if you graph it wrong. Okay, Amber, can you tell me where you graph it wrong? Yes.
I thought it was 2, but
It's a -2.
yeah, it's negative.
Yeah, either 2 or -2 or 4. But since it's a negative, it should start below. It's going to start at trap. Okay, anybody else got it wrong? Raise your hand so I can ask you where you get it wrong so I know. Josiah?
I know what like I just did it wrong.
Where?
I made it right. Well, on the midline, I accidentally added 1, so 1. So I got like put 2 for the midline because I was thinking of cosine because like it starts at 1, so I added 1 to 1.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. All right. Now, do you understand it now? Okay. Anybody else? Darshini, do you know where you did wrong?
0.
You cannot start at 0 because it's based on the midline. Okay, so is this okay? Now, I'm going to show you what happened if you have just focus on B right now. So today, about y equal to sine of 2/3 x. What does a 2/3 do? What does a 2/3 do? Well, it's my amplitude is what? My amplitude is 1, right? It's my C and D is all 0, right? So there's a +0, right? There's a D, there's no D. So here is at the midline. Now the only thing that's affecting is 2/3. This is the B value. What does V value impact though? On what? Impact what? Period. Okay. So we're gonna figure out A stand for amplitude. B stand for period, which is 2 pi over B. But what is a b in this case? 2 over 3. So it'll be 2 pi over 2 over 3. Arthur, pay attention. You did this wrong on the test. It's 2 pi. You're gonna times, keep change flip. This gonna be changed to the top is to be 3 over 2. So this will cancel out. That's equal to 3 pi. Is that okay? Is that okay? Oh, sorry. B should be midline, right? So this is C. So B is the midline. B is the midline is what?
You're right there.
Y equal to 0, right?
If you're at the equation with all the left-hand side,
What?
you're at the equation with all the variables
Well,
inside.
well, with, on the equation, the D is the midline, but he's doing A, B, C as in steps.
Yeah, but how do I graph those?
Like
The
when
A, B,
he's
C, D
doing
are.
when he's doing A, B, C for the example, those are the steps. That's like step 1, step 2, step 3.
No, it's the same.
Okay, so should I just like 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
That makes it so much worse.
okay,
Whatever you do is gonna make.
Sorry, that hurt your feelings. I'm sorry.
okay. No, that's okay.
That
So
calmed me down in front of the entire class.
so what is quarter period? It's a 3 pi over what? 4, right? Because you gotta take 3 pi divided by 4, so it'll be 3 pi over 4, right? Now I'm gonna go to the fifth step. The fifth step is what? Horizontal translation. So horizontal translation is a none. So you're gonna start at 0. So again, we're gonna start a sine graph. Sine of 2 over the x. Okay, so you say, okay, we can get this. My midline is at 0, so it makes it a lot easier. And since it's 1, that's also easy. So we're gonna say this much is 1. We can decide our own scale. Now, but every 3 pi over 4. So I'm gonna choose 3 pi over 4, so I'm gonna choose 3 spaces. So each spaces means what? What's each space? Pi over 4, right? So the next thing I'm gonna choose what? 6 pi over 4, right? What is 6 pi over 4 simplify down to? 3 pi over 2. So you should write this as 3 pi over 2. Is that okay? And then what's the next one? 3, 6, 9. So it'll be 9 pi over 4. Is that okay? And then 12 pi over 4. 12 pi over 4 is 3 pi. Which is that we know is the whole period. So you start at 0. You're going to go up because it's a positive. Come down, negative. Go down, it's going to go here and go up. And the other side just reciprocate this 3 spaces. So to pay attention, this is 3 spaces.
Let's say 9 pi over. Or is it 7?
9 pi.
9 pi over 4. So that's going to be here. This is going to be here. And this is going to be, I don't have enough room, but it's going to go the other side. So that way you can see 2, 4, 2 pi. But again, this one has a 2 over 3, right? This one's 2 over 3. So we're going to give you a little bit more difficult. So the second one I want you to graph, say y equal to -2 cosine of, I'm going to say it's 4 over 3 x minus 1. -2 cosine of 4 over 3 x minus 1. So figure out what the amplitude is. Figure out what the midline is. Graph those midline first.
Oh my gosh, versus cosine.
Okay, now the period is gonna be 2 pi over b. But what is b?
Oh, you gave us the period.
Yes, so now you gotta go figure out. Now you gotta decide your own scale. You have to be consistent with your scales too. So for example, before I used 3 spaces, it's 3 pi over 4. So your next one is 6 pi over 4. Your next one's 9 pi over 4. It's 12 pi over 4. It's exactly same increment, same enough space. So your graph's going to come out perfectly. And after you did all that, I want you to check your answer, whether your answer is correct or wrong. What? Yeah, but you can take outside of parentheses now. You can just say something times x. So be 4/3 times x. So you can take this out. Later we're going to teach you how to take out it. Things are more complex. So we're not going to deal with C today because C is going to be more confusing. So we just deal with A, D, and B. But C is going to be horizontal translation. But you have to take out B correctly because we will do that tomorrow. But today, make sure you do your homework. Like seriously lock in to do your homework correct. It's not going to be a lot of questions, but you're going to have to make sure you do it 100% correct and check your answer on Desmos.
Already?
Euler graph.
Better place to be, better people to see. Okay.
When he's saying that this is B4, but how do you get that?
It's multiplied by x. Yeah, he's right. Josiah's right. Because later, if I have 4/3 x minus pi over 2, then you have to take out 4/3 out. But just 4/3 x, that's 4/3 is already outside. You can treat it as a 4/3 times x.
You're gonna post the slides during break, or was it working?
It should work.
Okay. Well, because it wasn't working the other day.
Yeah, today is working.
I-
Nicholas and Gia is gonna come back lost.
I really hope that I cannot hear myself.
Here, Gia is not.
Huh?
It will be okay.
Gia will be okay.
Nick will not be okay. Nick will be okay. He's not watching live.
Now, after you're done, check a Desmos. Graph the midline, check the point, check the maximum, minimum, see if you're in the right spot. Also, edit on your scales. Your scale is kind of important.
My scale is so high. Yeah.
It's not the scale. So, maybe pi over 8.
You know, it's
3 pi. 9 pi over 8. Then you get 9 pi over 8. Not only are you saying so there's 3 pi over 2 pi. And then that would be 12 pi. That 9 pi is 4 well.
yeah, but now you okay, perfect. That one, and that not, that one. Correct.
And you're gonna choose number 2. That's what midline is named, bro. Yes? Yes.
Okay, so
No,
remember,
it has to read, no, it has to
you
read
have 2 pi over whatever beats.
2 pi. One period.
Fine. You can get 2 pi over whatever.
3 pi.
The value is 4. 2 pi over.
Period.
Okay, so far, did you get all the information correctly? 3 pi over 8, it's a quarter period.
Yes.
Is that okay? So now I'm gonna graph it. Where's the midline? -1, so I'm gonna draw -1 here. Is that okay? Now I should start, a cosine should start at the midline or the peak or trough. Trough, so it's gonna be 2 units above the midline or 2 units below the midline. Below, so it's gonna start right here. Is that okay?
That is okay.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next spaces is gonna be 3 pi over 8. Why is 3 pi over 8? I'm gonna choose 3 spaces. Each space represents pi over 8. So that means your next time it happens is gonna be 6 pi over 8, which is also known as 3 pi over 4. Is that okay? Next time it's gonna happen is 6 pi over 8, then that's gonna be 9 pi over 8. Is that okay? 3, 6, 9, right? What's the next one? 12. 12 pi over 8 is 3 pi over 2. Is this okay? Adding each quarter period. Now I'm gonna go in the graph. Like this. And I'm gonna go in the graph like this. Go in the graph like this. Go in the graph like this. Now every 3 spaces is gonna have a drastic change. Most of the people do they change too much.
Mr. Yates, that's pretty sick. Why is standing up pretty close to what?
Wait, the last one? 3 pi over 2.
And I was then you're gonna have 6 pi.